All right, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with our strategies today. But before we do, I do want to discuss some Google Doc norms. These are rules that are non-negotiable. We will have a Google Doc that we're going to use that has the text on it. The reason why we are practicing with a Google Doc this year instead of paper is because everyone will be taking the STAR online. So we want your practice to look as close to the STAR that you'll actually take as possible. Okay? We have some rules here. Number one, we do not erase text. If you did that on accident, you need to either press the back button in Google Docs or you need to raise your hand and tell your teacher immediately. So Mr. Reed and I are going to do a lot of hard work putting together the Google Docs for y'all. And so like erasing text or messing with it is going to be an act of pretty severe disrespect towards Mr. Reed and I. So make sure that you do not erase any text. And if you make a mistake, you're telling your teacher right away. We only highlight and add comments that are related to our work. So this document is not shared with like any of your classmates. It's just for you and your teacher. And when you add comments, you should add comments that are like notes on your text, okay? Don't just like add silly comments or highlight things that you shouldn't highlight, okay? We just want to be using the tools in the way that they should be. We don't insert images or play around with our Google Docs. Again, this is work. This is to get you out of practice, okay? So any breaking of these norms will result in a 0 for the day from your teacher and a classroom consequence from your teacher. So if you're on campus, any playing around is going to be an automatic deduction. If you're online and we see you fooling around and not working and being silly with your Google Doc, that is going to be a parent phone call from me or Miss Newgard, okay? So let's make sure we're all showing respect, we're all working hard, and doing all we can to prepare ourselves for the STAR coming up in a few weeks, okay? All right, let's talk about Trubies. All right, so Mr. Reed and I thought, hey, y'all already know rubies. Why don't we just kind of add on to that to teach you your testing strategy for reading? I'm online, so I'm not seeing it as much, but I heard such wonderful things from like the on-campus teachers about y'all using rubies in class. And so we thought, hey, if y'all are doing an excellent job, why not add on to that? So we're going to be using Trubies, which is really similar. Just obviously with the reading passages, you're going to have to take more notes than you would in science. Okay? So I'm going to go over these super briefly, and then we'll get a chance to practice this in action. Okay, so with Trubies, you're going to first read the title and preview. So T is for title. You're going to write the title of the passage on your paper. You're going to number the paragraphs on your scratch paper. You're going to read the subheadings, which are like the little titles of different sections of text. You're going to look at the pictures and ask yourself, what's this article probably about? And maybe what genre is this article, right? Is it fiction? Is it nonfiction? Is it poetry? Because that's going to kind of affect the way that you take notes. All right, then you're going to read the passage. So next to the R on your notes, you're going to write what each paragraph is about. You're going to write a quick summary after reading the entire article. You're going to highlight important parts of the story. And then for nonfiction, you're going to write the big ideas of the article. For fiction, you're going to write out the problem, solution, and theme. And poetry, you're going to write out the theme. All right, then when you're ready to answer the questions, right, we want to read before we answer any questions. You want to underline the question you're working on. Read each question twice. Write the number of your question on your paper. Ask yourself, what's this question asking me to do? And then you are going to barf up what you know. So you're going to predict the answer to your question before you even look at the answer choices. Then you'll identify the key concepts in the answer choices. So underline keywords in the answer choices, like what are these implying here? And then you're going to eliminate your wrong answers. So I can say Miss Watson has been doing star 5th grade reading for, this is my 5th year doing it, and I can tell you that every single time on the star, there are 2 obviously wrong answers and 2 that seem correct. So cross out the ones that are obviously wrong. And then once you've done that, you'll usually be about between 2 answer choices. You're going to solve your problem. You're going to choose the correct answer that matches the original answer you had written before. And then you're going to write, I know this because, and give me text evidence for your answer. Now, this is a lot. Don't worry. Mr. Reed and I got you. We're going to be modeling that for you shortly. Okay? So, again, this is going to look different based on whether you're online or if you're in person, okay? If you're online, you're going to be looking at the Truby sheet to kind of go through the passage and check your work. And I'm going to put that on the top of your Google Doc. And if you're in person, I'm going to actually print out the sheet so that you have it right in front of you when you're ready to take notes. All right. So if you, again, are online, you're going to be doing a lot of this work on your Google Doc. But if you're in person, I'm going to have you write it out on paper. Let me show you what I want that paper to look like. And then advisors, if you want to go ahead and freeze the screen, have them write it down on notebook paper, you can freeze the video and then come back to it when they're ready. Okay, so if you're in person, this is what I want your notebook paper to look like. Advisors, if you want to freeze the this slide is going to be in about 2 slides. If you want to just freeze it, you can do that. If you want to freeze the video, you can do that, but give each scholar a chance to make their paper look like this before you continue the video. Okay, great. And then if you're online, what you're going to do, and me and Miss Newgard can make sure you get there, is you are going to pull up your Google Doc, all right, which is going to look like this. All right, so you're going to have the Trubies on top, and then you're going to have the passage underneath, okay? So I'll give you just a second to do that. If you want to pause the video and come back, make sure everyone has this open. Okay, great. So if you are in person, you can just kind of follow along with me. But yeah, if you're online, you're going to want this doc open as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through Trubies, and I'm going to show you all what it should look like if you're online and if you're in person, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is, okay, title and preview. Read and write the title on your paper. Number the paragraphs on your scratch paper. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is write the title down. So if I'm online, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this title by using the highlighter button. But if you're online, you're going to write the title down. Okay, so you can pause the video and write playing the field down next to the T on your paper. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is number the paragraphs on your scratch paper. All right, if you're online, you don't have to do that because the paragraphs are already numbered for you, which is really fantastic. But if you are in person, you're going to want to, in the T, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 on your paper in that T box. All right, the next thing you're going to do is read the subheadings. Do I have any subheadings? I don't really, but I have this intro that I'm going to highlight. The narrator no longer wants to share a room with his younger brother. Okay, look at the pictures. No pictures here. And so then we're going to ask ourselves, what is this article probably about? What genre is this article? Okay, so that's when, if I'm online, I'm going to create a comment. But if I'm in person, I'm basically just going to write this comment in that T box as well. Okay, so I'm going to insert comment and say, this article is probably about two brothers playing a game, because this is playing the field. So they can figure out their room situation. And I'm going to leave a comment right here, okay? Cool. And again, you're just going to kind of write this down in the T box. Teachers, you can like pause the video here if you want them to see that comment a little bit more so they can write it down. This article is probably about two brothers playing a game so they can figure out their room situation. Okay, and then I've done the T part. So I'm going to go ahead and on the next slide, just show you really quick what that T box should look like if you're in person. Okay, cool. So if you're in person, I included this on the next slide so you can kind of see what that T should look like on paper. All right. So feel free to like pause the video or go to the next slide if you want to pull that up for your scholars. All right, so I'm running out of time, so I'm actually going to have you all go to the next video for the R. All right, see you in that video.